What's up, guys? Welcome to the video. My channel name is College Football Frenzy, back with another video, and today I'm going to be breaking down the North Dakota State Bison 2020 football schedule. Now, when you think of the most dominant programs in all of college football, your first guess is probably not the North Dakota State Bison. It's probably either Ohio State, Alabama, maybe Clemson, those programs you think of. Yet the North Dakota State Bison are by far the most dominant program in all of college football right now. They've won 8 of the last 9 FCS national championships. They've gone through different coaches, gone through different talents. It doesn't matter who they have on their coaching staff or on their team. They'll still continue to dominate. This past season, they went 16-0, and it was under a new head coach, a first-year head coach, and they dominated the FCS, went 16-0. They know how to win championships. They have produced pretty good NFL talent, including quarterback Carson Wentz, and they're going to continue to dominate in the near future. They show no signs of stopping. No one is their equal in the FCS. They've had a few teams like South Dakota State beat them, but overall, they are not used to losing. They rarely lose, and when they do lose, it's almost always close. So this program, they know how to win, and they're gonna continue to keep doing that until they get more competition. And even against the good competition, North Dakota State has done great. In fact, their last 6 FBS opponents, they have all won against. They have won against every single one of them, including Iowa a few years ago when Iowa was ranked 13th, and it was in Kinnick Stadium, one of the toughest places to play in college football history. A lot of good programs go in there and struggle or can't seem to get the win, yet North Dakota State was able to do it. So North Dakota State has a history of beating FBS programs. They lately have just been overall dominant in the FCS, and they probably will continue to do that. Without further ado, let's get into it. The talent for North Dakota State, it's definitely going to be pretty good for this upcoming season. The recruiting class, it's like top 15 in the FCS, I believe. It's definitely not on the level of an FBS recruiting class, but still for the FCS, it's pretty good. Returning talent, of course, Trey Lance, the quarterback. He's a top 3 quarterback probably in the 2021 upcoming draft, so he's going to be very good. It'll be nice to see him return. He's definitely going to be a high pick in the 2021 NFL draft, so watch for him. So overall, they're pretty talented. And again, last year they went 16-0, and they lost a ton of seniors. I believe it was like over 20 or something like that. So they lost a lot of talent and still went 16-0. And this upcoming season, I don't think they're going to have as many question marks, so they should be great. That being said, their schedule is definitely tough. It's definitely tough, no doubt about it. They have a couple tough in-conference games against a few rivals. They have one out-of-conference game that's very, very tough, and they have another out-of-conference game that's a little bit tough. So overall, it's going to be a tough schedule, but again, they don't need to really worry because, of course, the FCS playoffs, I believe it's 24 teams, so plenty of teams still make it, so they don't have to worry about that if they do drop a couple games. But without further ado, let's get into this, starting with the biggest game of the season, number 1 at Oregon on September 5th. This is a big game. Big game. Now, Oregon is clearly no Iowa. I understand Iowa was a good football team that year that North Dakota State beat them. Iowa ended up beating Michigan, actually, who was a very good football team under Jim Harbaugh that year. So, listen, I think Iowa was a decent team, but they're nowhere on the level that this upcoming year's Oregon's going to be. Oregon's going to be the toughest opponent North Dakota State has faced, really, just in the last 20 years, whatever you want to say. So this is going to be a very tough opponent. The toughest FBS opponent, I would say, North Dakota State's had to face. So this is going to be hard. It's at Autzen Stadium. Oregon has a top 5 defense, in my opinion, for this upcoming season, so that's going to be tough to face against. Their one concern is the quarterback position. We'll see who's the quarterback, whether it's Anthony Brown, Tyler Shaw. There's a few options there. Definitely not as good as Justin Herbert, but still, they definitely have a few options. The offensive line's great. They have Penei Sewell, could be the number 1 pick, at least a top 3 pick. So they'll have a good offensive line. In the weapons, they still have plenty of weapons. So Oregon looks like a very good football team, and it's at Autzen Stadium. The thing is, though, Oregon has Ohio State the next week of the season, and this is why North Dakota State, I think, has a decent chance to at least come close with Oregon, if not even get the upset. Here's the reason. Oregon's going to be looking ahead to the Ohio State game, no doubt, as they should be. It's a huge game. It's going to be probably a top 5 matchup if Oregon can win this game. So I think if Oregon looks ahead to Ohio State too much, North Dakota State could have a chance. They could have a chance. They could catch Oregon off guard. That being said, I definitely think Oregon's the more talented team. Give me Oregon in this one, but I think North Dakota State can put up a fight. Drake should be one of the easier games you have on your schedule. I'll take the Bison here. 3, North Carolina A&T. So this was a team last year that I believe made the Celebration Bowl. It was the only bowl game that FCS teams played in last year. So this is going to be an interesting game. I think North Carolina overall is a decent team in the FCS. Not fantastic, but still overall a decent team. I think it can be a competitive game, but it's a home game for the Bison. They're definitely the more talented team overall. So I'll take North Dakota State here. But again, North Carolina A&T wasn't a bad team last year. They were a pretty good team overall, and they made a bowl game. So expect for them to put up a little bit of a fight, but I'll go the Bison here. 4 at Northern Iowa, one of the better in-conference opponents in the Missouri Valley Conference that North Dakota State played against last year. Northern Iowa made the FCS playoff. They didn't, of course, make the national championship game, but overall they're a pretty good contender, and they did pretty good in the Missouri Valley Conference. It's at Northern Iowa. I think this could be the toughest in-conference game you have. If not, it's probably maybe your rival South Dakota State. So this is going to be a tough game, no doubt. I'll take the Bison here. They're clearly more talented, but Northern Iowa, they're no joke. They're no joke. So you gotta take them seriously. I think it can be a close game, but I'll take the Bison. 5, Illinois State. North Dakota State faced them twice last year. In the first game, I believe it was a blowout. In the second game, it was actually pretty close. I think the final score was 9-3. I remember watching that game. It was in the Fargo Dome. Illinois State put up a pretty good fight overall, but they came up short. I don't think it'll be as close as it was in that playoff game. I think North Dakota State at home will get the job done. I think they're much more talented. So give me the Bison here. I think they win this one easily this time around. 6 at Indiana State. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. They're a pretty weak in conference opponent. It's an away game, but still you should win this one. So I'll take the Bison here. 7, South Dakota State. So obviously North Dakota State versus South Dakota State was featured on College Game Day last year. It's a great rivalry, one of the best rivalries in all of the FCS in my opinion. Obviously Harvard's Yale is better in my opinion, but still this is definitely one of the best rivalries in the FCS. These two programs, their fan bases love this rivalry, so it's definitely going to be a good game as always. South Dakota State over the last 9 years has beaten North Dakota State a couple of times, so they have been able to beat North Dakota State. This past season, North Dakota State was able to win against South Dakota State, but for this upcoming season, you never know. South Dakota State can always put up a fight, so I expect, it to be a little bit closer than maybe Indiana State or Illinois State the past couple games before South Dakota State, but overall, I think North Dakota State at home is the better team. South Dakota State definitely had a down year last year. I'll take the Bison here, but again, it's your rival. They're going to give you a challenge, definitely. So don't take them easily. Definitely take them seriously here. 8, Youngstown State. I don't think it'll be that much of a problem overall to win this game. I expect it to be pretty easy for the Bison at home. So I'll take North Dakota State here. At Missouri State, these guys were probably the worst team, if not the second worst team in the Missouri Valley last year. They only finished with 1 win overall in the season, so they were a very bad football team. It's an away game, but you'll win this one easily. 10-year bye week. Nice time to rest up before another rival. 11, North Dakota. North Dakota's an independent school. I think North Dakota State plays them every year. I think North Dakota overall is not that great of a football team, and it's a home game for North Dakota State, so I'll definitely take the Bison here. But North Dakota, they could challenge them. They made the playoff last year, so we'll see how it goes. But my guess would definitely be that North Dakota State wins this game. 12 at South Dakota. In my opinion, this game won't be very tough. I'll take the Bison here. They win this game. So overall, my current record for you is 10-1. It could be 9-2, but I have it at 10-1. I wouldn't be shocked, if you lose twice. there's a couple tough in-conference games in there. Regardless, you're still going to make the playoff, and I still have you winning the FCS National Championship because you always do great in the postseason. So I definitely think even if you lose twice, you'll still win the FCS National Championship. But there are a couple tough games on that schedule. I definitely think at Oregon is going to be a loss. Listen, they might be looking ahead to Ohio State, but overall, in my opinion, they're still the more talented team. So I think Oregon wins that game. If I'm being realistic, you're definitely going to be favored in every single one of these FCS games. Definitely, no doubt about that. I favor you in every one of them. I think you'll win every one of them. But I definitely would not be shocked if, say, you lost on the road at Northern Iowa, or maybe South Dakota State or North Carolina A&T gave you a tough time. So that could be where your second loss hits. But overall, I'm having you have only one loss only. I understand you guys want to keep that winning streak going. They have a great winning streak right now. But I don't think it's going to happen. I feel like Oregon's just a very good football team. They're a lot better than Iowa was a few years ago. I understand Iowa was a pretty good team a few years ago, but they're not on the level that Oregon was at. If you do beat Oregon, I hope you're in the top 25 in the AP poll. You've came close a few times now. After you beat Iowa, I believe you got you almost made the top 25. I think you came in 27th in the AP poll after you beat Iowa. So you've came close before to making the AP poll. If you beat Oregon, I definitely think you should be in the top 25. But my guess would be I don't think it's going to happen. It's just an away game at Autzen Stadium. Maybe if there's no fans, that's definitely a possibility. Maybe that will help you. But still, regardless, it's tough to play in Eugene, whether there's fans or not. And the talent for Oregon is just so good. So right now I have you at 10-1. Don't sweat it. I think you'll still win the FCS National Championship. Matt Entz has done a great job with you in his first year. I expect the dominance to continue. And Trey Lance, I expect him to do big things next season. So overall, North Dakota State, my guess would be 10-1. It could be 9-2. But that's it for now, guys. Thanks for joining in. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Check out all my other videos. Give your North Dakota State record prediction down below. And that's it for now. Thanks for joining in.